Hello. Hello, hello. Good afternoon to those of you who are in East Africa. Hello, hello, hello. Hey, Nduko. How are you, Nduko? Where are you joining us from? Which city in the world are you joining us from? Welcome, Nduko. Hello, hello. Good afternoon to those of you who are in East Africa. Right? As soon as you join in, please let me know from which city in the world you're joining me from. Hi, Juliet. How you doing? Juliet, let me send you an invite. Duko says she's fine, thank you. Oh, how awesome. Kaya Organics has joined us. Welcome, Kaya Organics. Please let me know from which city in the world you're joining me from. Nduko says that she's joining us from Nairobi City. Invite. Welcome, Duko from Nairobi. Welcome, Kaya Organics. Yay, Juliet! We've done it.
Yes, I figured it
Okay.
out.
Yay. No, I honestly think you'd figured it out last time. I just think technology failed us. Let me adjust my camera so that you can get my full face. Yeah, that's better. How is your afternoon? It's now afternoon, right? Yeah, it's now afternoon. How is it? How's the going?
Good. I can't complain. I'm happy that finally this has happened after last challenges. Yeah.
Let me tell you, if there's one thing I have learned about myself is that I am not a quitter. I am not a quitter. Even if this didn't work out, I would have still followed through because I promised people alive, and I promised people alive where from they could learn from the women I've worked with, and it was going to be done. It was going to be done one way or another. So Nico is joining us from Nairobi. There's Kaya Organics. Welcome. Please let us know from which city in the world you're joining us from. All right. Welcome, Fred. Welcome, Mukami. Welcome, Sarah. Welcome, Angie. Yeah, welcome. So how did you feel last time? Even after, I know that we weren't able to have the conversation that we'd intended to have, but did you find that what I shared very interesting? Because I talked about, free, how we should be allergic to the word free when it comes to our story. Yeah, but is there something that maybe if we think about reminding the people who are joining us today, what did we talk about, or what resonated with you the most about what we discussed last time?
First of all, it's you need to recognize the gifts that you have. And when you do, and the experiences that you've had in life, because those are your stories, you should own them. And remember that these stories can actually make you money, because when you speak about your experiences, you could encourage someone out there who's going through something similar. So you need to own your story and know that you can actually use your money, use your story to make some money. Because even the Bible says that everything you need in life he has given you, so that's one way for you to make a living.
So and that's amazing, because I realize, especially with women, we are often taught that our existence in this world is for servitude, that when you experience something, and this is something I want you who are watching here today to understand what I mean by monetize your story, and what I mean by using your story to make money. It's not just saying Mary had a cow and it was purple and it produced nice grape flavored milk. That's a nice story. That's a nice story, right? But the point, according to how I define storytelling at Let's, Storytelling is sharing a message, right? Sharing a message using a story to transfer value to inspire positive action. What does that mean? Your transformation. Each one of us has experienced something. Each one of us has gone through something or learned something through life that we can teach. And by teaching, we can earn from teaching these things, right? So if all the time people are asking you, how did you bake this cake? How did you make this delicious muffin? And you're busy giving them the recipe for free. That is, you're giving out your rent for free. You're giving out that lifestyle for free. That's what I mean, that transformation. Because in your story is the method, it's the recipe, right? So your story is that recipe for transformation. And just like Juliet has said, you have exactly what you need. At any point in your life, you have exactly what you need to take you to the next level. So that's a nice intro to our chat today, Juliet, right?
Yeah. Thank you.
Welcome, welcome. Those of you who don't know me, my name is Ayuma. I'm the founder, story coach, and keynote speaker at Let's. Over the last 5 years, I have built this social enterprise to empower global women leaders to not only use their stories to transform this world, to change the world, but also to make money. I have served more than 500 women leaders from across the globe in 5 continents. And I'm so glad that I've been able to work with women from stay-at-home moms who are launching new businesses to even former Wall Street boss women who would like to showcase their stories and mentor and teach through their stories, okay? And this afternoon, I'm joined by Juliet. Now, Juliet is a powerhouse. When you see this woman, listen, we are talking about global customer experience, not only consulting, but also training. She has worked with some of the most successful East African companies, right? And especially in the telco business, okay? So she knows the deal. She has worked her way up, and we had the opportunity to work with each other, and she's here to share with you 1 month later what has her journey of transformation been like by implementing some of the things that she learned during our coaching partnership together. Now, Juliet, we worked together on a brand storytelling coaching, project, right? And obviously it took 1 month, and it was supposed to be 1 month, but obviously because of COVID, I have shared this opportunity where we can do a 4-month project, right? I'm really curious, where were you before you made the decision to reach out to Ayuma to coach you on brand storytelling? Where were you in your leadership journey at that time?
Wow. I was. I'll go back a little bit. I left corporate employment in August last year, and I decided to step out and start my own consultancy. So I felt that I had the passion and the experience and the knowledge, and I felt like I needed to share this with the world on a less restricted platform. Like I'm making the decision, I'm curating and packaging the message according to the customer that I get or the client that I get. And I felt I was not able to do that when I was in corporate. So I started the journey of consultancy, but I did not know how exactly to run a business and how to put together, even to market the business itself or what I'm offering. So I felt like I was lost in a lot of chaos and confusion. I had so much to say, but I didn't know how to focus that message into something that can be, the client will see as a service that I'm selling, or something that they can actually purchase from me, or something we can partner with to work together. So when I saw, I actually realized that you're very consistent in your posting, in your social media presence, and it caught my eye. Your posts actually caught my eye, and I was and I was actually like, oh, she's really a good storyteller, because every post had a story and a lesson. So I was like, I wish I could be able to. I have many stories from my experience in corporate, from my life experience. I have so many of them, and I think how I can use that, even to teach others. But well, I didn't know how to put it, and I saw how you were doing it, and I was like, I really need to know how to do this. Then I realized I didn't even know you were a coach. Actually, I was just following your post. So one of those days you shared something, and then you put down there that you're a storytelling coach. I was like, I've never heard of a storytelling coach. That is very interesting. So I actually now look back. I went into your profile. I checked all the posts that you have put there, and then you set up another live session. It was like a whole week of you talking, similar to what we are doing right now. And I could see how you work with other clients and how it has transformed their business. And that's where I I need to do this. And I reached out. I was curious to know, how do you do storytelling coaching? It's something I want, but I didn't even know it existed. Yeah. So I felt like I needed to learn how to focus all the skills that I have into something that I can use as a marketing tool. Yeah. Or even as a way to teach others from my experience.
That's amazing. So you were working in corporate, you were doing the most, but you realized there was a gap. You could only do so much as long as you were under the roof of these corporates. And even though there were some of the most, guys, please check out Juliet, so that you can get to know the kind of organizations she's worked with. And that's where you learn, even if you work with the most successful companies ever, even in the world, you'll notice that as long as it's under someone's vision or under somebody else's dream, there's always a gap. Because there's work that you have specifically been called to do in this world. And sometimes you just need that courage to dare to leave the comfort of this big giant with all of those nice perks. Because I'm sure in corporates, they give you so many perks. I'm sure insurance, benefits, the benefit of a salary every month, It's your boss's job to make sure that you're paid every month. But here you are noticing a gap. Here you are noticing that little frown or that little when the client says, I wish somebody could attend to this, but then they can't ask why. It's not in the proposal. So you took that jump from corporate to starting on your own, and you realized, my goodness, this is a whole river. There's a certain cushioning that comes with working in employment, right? You don't realize how much work the entire team puts in just to get you guys paid at the end of the month. But also the systems, the operations, to get to a point where things run seamless. It's not easy, starting out a business. But the cool thing is, you noticed that there was somebody, you noticed that first of all, you had a story. First of all, you are credible. You are qualified enough to solve that gap that these clients want being served by these big corporates. And then number two, you noticed that you had a story, right? That you could tell, that you could share, right? And then also you could speak from your own voice, not on behalf of the corporate. You could speak as Juliet, the expert, right? From all of that experience. And number three, you notice that there's somebody out here who's doing what I need. There's somebody out there that I'm noticing within the proximity of social media who's doing exactly what I need to do. And you reached out, right? So you already noticed that there was somebody who was consistent with doing that which you were looking to do. So I hope that as you people are watching this, you realize the importance of storytelling and some of the components of storytelling. First of all, our stories don't belong inside us. They belong out there serving the world. If I did not share my stories, Juliet wouldn't have seen them, right? If I didn't share my expertise, that yes, I'm sharing with you these stories, but I'm a storytelling coach, reach out to me via XYZ, right? Or showcasing my work through the Instagram live session, then Juliet wouldn't have seen me. She wouldn't have noticed my consistency. She wouldn't have noticed I'm a storytelling coach. She wouldn't have reached out to me and said, hey, I need you to coach me to tell my stories the way you're telling my stories, right? So I hope you're noticing these gems that Juliet is dropping for us. And Juliet, I'm sure that when you're working with me, you weren't looking for complete 100% salvation. There was already something you were doing, because I know you're a woman leader, you're a powerhouse leader, and I know very well from all of my clients, these are women who are they're very proactive in getting the work done and getting their transformation. So what did you already try out on your own before you now reached out for coaching and you said, no, now I really need an expert to help me out with this?
First of all, I tried to write a few articles on LinkedIn, just to talk to people about what I'm passionate about. I wasn't really saying that I can offer, training services or consultancy services. That's not how I was phrasing the message. That's what I realized. And I was talking to people, especially SMEs, small businesses, because I felt that that was a space that had not been they have not been factored in. When you're thinking about consultancy, you think about big corporations, how they hire consultants, and they have it's a big contract. But how about SME? So that was a target market I was looking at. Someone who probably has one or two employees in their business, or they even solo, but they need they need support in terms of strategizing around their business, around customer experience. Because most people, I realized, they do their business strategy, they have their business plan, and then they wing it when it comes to customer experience. But they don't realize customer experience is something that should be designed. It should be factored in even as you're doing your business strategy. And that way you reap more benefits when you have factored it in way before, so that even when you're starting, the first time you're introducing yourself to your customers, they can see that you're putting an effort in terms of how you serve them and the customer experience that you deliver. So I realized that's a gap that there was, especially with SMEs, and how people think that customer experience is just smiling at your customer. No, customer experience is not just smiling at your customer. There's a little bit more. There's a bit of there's an art, and there's a design that goes into it, and there's you need to put in a little bit of work in designing the experience that you want your customers to have. So that's the gap that I found. I used to talk to people whenever I had a chance, or anyone who was running a business, and we started having a conversation. I found myself giving them solutions about their customer experience. I found myself reaching out to people who were probably struggling. Even when I go into a place where I probably am buying something or I need their service, I actually did give them feedback about their customer experience. And I realized that there's a need out there. It's just that most people think it's a big corporate thing. And even SMEs, even solopreneurs, they do need to factor in customer experience. So that's what I was doing. I was sharing, talking to people. I was offering my consultancy. Clearly, I was doing it for free, because it was not something that I had applied them as a client. I was giving them feedback as a customer, but also giving them feedback on how they can improve on their customer experience. Yeah, so that's what I was doing at the time. Just winging it, really, not really taking it seriously, but.
And I'm sure it must have hurt, because for me, even when I started, because people normally think that, I just woke up one day, and because I used to be a journalist or this award-winning humanitarian comms person, I just started out and I just started getting clients immediately. Listen, it took 2 years. I had 2 whole cold turkey years of not earning any income. And that's when I was really on the ground learning how to package storytelling. Because storytelling here in East Africa and larger parts of Africa, it's still new. So I realized it's something that was really popular, like maybe in Europe, in the States. But here, I'm still, even till today, I'm still, warming up. People are still warming up to storytelling as an actual service. And, beyond the nuance, because, I hear it in the news and in entrepreneurship spaces that people are like, yeah, tell your story. But people don't know it's an actual art and a science, that before you go to an investor, like there's a whole science and art that goes behind it. It's not just randomly sharing a story, right? And so I'm sure it must have been painful that you feel like you're working, but then you have nothing to show for it, right?
Exactly.
And that's how you know you're giving things out for free. When you're constantly pouring into people, people come to you constantly for something, right? Like before you find out what the word is, before you package it as training or coaching or consulting, people often come to you for something. People are, if you're watching this live, know that people are already coming to you for something. It could be family, it could be friends, it could be a spouse, it could be children, it could be community members, it could be your church. Whatever it is, people are already coming to you for something. Why? Because your gifts, you cannot hide from your gifts. You cannot hide from your gifts. Your gifts will betray you. You will go somewhere, you'll find yourself. For myself, I'll find myself encouraging people. I'll find myself teaching people. For you, your gift of customer experience betrayed you because you went somewhere. You're going to buy something from a Duka, Coca-Cola shop, and you're over there giving somebody world-class customer experience. It becomes a free consultation. That this world-class consultation that you've learned from this telco, you're giving it to that shopkeeper for free, right? And then when you leave, you've just gone there to buy a mandazi or soda, but you feel like you feel like you've drained your energy because you've worked, but you have nothing to show for it. You shared your story, aka your transformation, your method, your ingredients, but you have nothing to show for it. If you feel this way, please go to the comment section and raise up your hand. If you feel like you've been giving out something for free, you feel like whenever you talk to people or whenever people coming to you for something, you feel like your energy is drained, you feel like you've worked, but then you have nothing to show for it, please raise your hand. Me, I'll be the first. I'll be the first to raise my hand. Juliet, put up your hand. Put up your hand. If you've given out your story for free, we are all here. We are a support group. We will help each other. We'll help each other. And this is the importance. Maybe some of you during this pandemic are busy wondering, my goodness, I've tried to apply for jobs, but nothing is coming through. I've tried to launch this business, but nothing is coming through. But listen, there's already something people are coming to you for. It could even be your cupcakes. It could be advice. It could be whatever. Trust you me, people are calling you for something. For me, I remember there's a time a friend from last year, that's when I decided, no, I will be charging for my public speaking. And I felt so frustrated till I went on my website. This is what happened. A friend I haven't talked to since uni, right? So I went, this person just called me randomly at like 7 p.m. and I picked up the phone and I thought, hey, this is just a catch up. I was like, hey, how are you doing? So this guy was like, hey, you've written this price on your for public speaking online. Are you sure that's the right price? Then I was like, yeah, because at that time I'd quoted around $500. Then he was like, oh, don't you mean $5? Then I was like, no, I mean $500. Then he was like, you mean people actually charge this much? I was like, yeah, I do. Then I felt so frustrated. After that call, he ended up asking me, but how do people end up earning this much? Do you know, for almost 30 minutes, I ended up now coaching that person. That was what it was. I ended up coaching that person. But at the end of that call, I felt like I had nothing to show for it. And that's when I said that whenever people call me, I'll ask them or say, hey, can I call you? I'll be like, what are we going to talk about? Let me know, what exactly are we going to talk about? So that I do not just share my gifts for free, yet my gifts have been given to me to be able to serve people who are ready for transformation. There's a big difference between serving people who are ready for transformation and serving people who want things for free, right? So, and that's when I decided, I went on my website and I was like, listen, $500. And when I became resolute about that, that's when I got an actual opportunity to speak on a global main stage by the Moth in partnership with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And Melinda Gates was literally in audience. And yes, I got paid that $500. Yay. And I got to stay in a very nice resort hotel for 3 days. Okay? So when you decide that you will no longer give out your gifts for free, that's when it forces you to start packaging it as an actual service and to share it. So Juliet, I'm really curious.
Just on that note, before you ask the question, I think also where people miss the point is knowing how much value that gift has and how much benefit it has for other people. When you go to a doctor's office, you're going there for treatment. But for them to spend that 15 minutes with you, 10 to 15 minutes with you consulting, do you know how much investment they have put behind there? They have spent more than 7 years in school. There's so much more investment into someone being able to use a gift that they have. Like, for example, the singers, if you're buying, as an album from someone, do you know how many hours they have put in there behind the practice, behind making sure that their voice is good, writing the song, iterating and making sure that the song sounds good. All of this work that comes in there, it adds value, and to add on to the work, the talent that you already have naturally, or the passion that you have, and the investment that you have put behind it, that now becomes valuable. And if you're giving it for free, then really you're losing out. So when you understand the value of what you have, then you cannot give it up for free.
Yes, that's a very good point. That's a very good point, Juliet. Just because it comes easy to you, or just because now it's easy for you, it doesn't mean you have to give it out for free. Maybe it's now easy for you to exercise. It's now easy for you to look good and fit and stuff like that. But it does not mean that it was easy for you to get to that point. So realize that transformation, people are buying into your current state right now. People are buying into the ease that you have right now. When you see Michael Jordan, you're buying into his discipline, but discipline does not come easy. The brand that is Jordan, the brand that is Michael Jordan, you're buying into his discipline. When you talk about Kobe Bryant or Serena Williams, you're buying into their discipline as athletes. But discipline does not come easy. The reason why you buy from them is you're buying their discipline. But Serena Williams did not just become Serena Williams overnight, right? And so she cannot just give out all that hard work ever since she was a teenager for free. That's why she gets paid that much, right? Oprah does not just do whatever she does for free, right? So why are you also giving out your things for free? Why are you sharing your gifts for free? And realize your story is not just, like I said, Mary had a cow that had purple milk. That's not really a story. Your story is your transformation, your toolkit of transformation, your journey of transformation. When somebody is constantly coming to you for cupcakes, and I'm not saying don't serve the church, listen, don't go report me to your pastors. But even for me, I'm a born again Christian, but I also needed to create a limit. I also needed to create a boundary with my church. I was like, listen, this church is also a business. Successful churches are also run as businesses. Every church is funded, right? So I am like, okay, I'll just stick to giving my offering. I'll stick to supporting this particular program. But when it comes to me serving, I need to also have some kind of return of investment. Why? Because even God himself has given us gifts so that we can sustain ourselves. So if people are constantly coming to you for free work, then people will know you for free. And just because you've worked so hard, or some gift that you have, for me, storytelling, I realize is also a natural gift, but I've also had to get some additional training. Just because it comes easier for you now, it doesn't mean you need to give out for free. No, you need to be paid for it, because why? That is the gift and resource you've been given to sustain you, right? And so, Juliet, thank you so much for reminding us about that. So, Juliet, I have this question. What was your understanding of branding, before working with me at Let's? What was your understanding of branding?
It will sound very, very silly because, I knew about branding as, putting yourself out there as a logo, or as a, like advertising yourself. I didn't understand the depth about branding, because a brand should tell a story about you, what you stand for, what you're all about, and what your beliefs are, not really beliefs, but what value you're adding. Someone should be able to see your brand, and they can, in an instant, tell that this is what I want to be associated with, because I can see what they stand for, I can see what they are doing, I can see the work they are doing, the brand is doing. I didn't know how deep a brand should be, and I didn't know about the brand story. I just thought branding is just advertising your services. Yeah. So I'm so glad I came across. And on our first session, when we were, like consulting the first call that you do, you asked me about my brand story, and I was clueless. I didn't know exactly what that meant. So after having a conversation with you, when I was like, oh, so my brand should tell my story, and it was mind blowing for me. Yeah.
Oh, so you're talking about the interview call when we were having the complimentary interview call. Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, before I work with a client, I normally have a 45-minute complimentary interview call so that I can get to understand what exactly is your challenge, what is your most urgent need, and also, am I the right coach for you? So that if I'm not the right coach for you, I can recommend you to amazing coaches. I have an amazing ecosystem of coaches I trust other people with, so that I cannot send you back. I will give you the solution or send you to somebody who can help you. But if I happen to have the solution that you need, then I'll send you a proposal on how exactly our project is going to look like. Okay. So Juliet, you said that you thought that branding was about advertising, and I totally understand, because that's how branding is talked about in Kenya, to be honest. In Kenya, branding is seen as, I see that we are a very long distance from where global branding is, how it's practiced and how it's seen. Because in Kenya, branding is seen as just logos, as the products. Branding is seen as products. It's seen as, oh, a certain politician went to a children's home and they gave out bags with their names on it, or branding is a certain social media influencer constantly mentioning, a certain brand or product. Or we see branding as, that roundabout that is maintained by a certain salon. I will not mention which one. Or we see branding as, we see it in a very shallow format, or branding as a logo. Oh, make for me a logo. I have a brand. Now I have a logo. Once you have a logo, you think you have a brand. Or people call themselves brands. People actually have the audacity to call themselves brands. Listen, you are not a brand. You can never be a brand. There's a big difference. Brand is a perception. So you cannot be a perception, but you are a representative of a brand, right? And then also, people see branding here. I've also noticed that here in Kenya, people see branding as like a website. These things that you just show, but they don't have they have no idea that at the bottom of branding, it's all about perception. What do people say about you when you're not in the room? Right?
And
what do people say about you when you're not in the room?
From my background in customer experience, for me, I looked at a brand as how it makes me feel. When I look at a brand, how does it make me feel? I'm happy about it. Would I want to be associated with it? But that was me looking at it through the lenses of customer experience. But then when you told me about the brand telling a story, I now had to look at it from a different angle. Yeah.
Yes. And what I teach is branding from a global perspective, because I think I've just had enough about, there's a time when my brand used to focus a lot on, Africans, telling the African narrative, until I was like, what? Africa is too small. We need to be thinking global. The fact that Kenya has innovations like M-Pesa that are currently being studied in Harvard, we need to be thinking global, guys. I've constantly been talking to and also serving American clients and also Canadian clients and European clients. Guys, these people do not think American. They do not think European. They are thinking global. They are waking up to serve people in China, in Russia, in Africa. That's how they are thinking. That's how they set up their systems, their operations, their language, the design of their services. So guys, enough about just thinking Africa. Africa is too small. But listen, what makes you stand out then is your culture add as an African. So right now, I'm not seeing myself as a Kenyan entrepreneur. I'm seeing myself as a global entrepreneur. Why? The solutions I am offering are global worthy. And my story is global worthy as an African woman. And so for me, if you're talking about Pan-Africanism, how Pan-African is it for me to call myself a global entrepreneur, global storyteller, speaking on global platforms as an African woman with my unique African story, you know? So that is where we need to be thinking, guys. Enough about just thinking local, enough about just thinking Africa-wide. We need to be thinking global, because that's where the real opportunities are. Our current local markets are very saturated. And that's why you're seeing youth unemployment is huge. In other African countries, you're seeing there's a lot of xenophobia happening. And because we exist in such saturated markets, as long as we only position ourselves in saturated markets, then you're basically your competition, your competitive advantage then is things like price and things like which country do you come from and which friends do you know and which class do you come from, which is quite shallow stuff, right? But if you position yourself globally, guys, you then have the world is your oyster. There's somebody in China who needs your culture ad. There are the people in the diaspora who need your culture ad, who need your story. And remember, your story is your toolkit. Your story is that unique value proposition, right? So realize that. And thank you so much. Juliet, for reminding us about that. Your brand is not a logo. Your brand is not you. Your brand is not just a random color that you choose because you've liked it since childhood. Your brand is not putting a banner or your logo on a roundabout in Kenya and say that is your brand. That is advertising. There's a big difference. Your brand is not a website. Your brand is not going on social media and saying, hey, I'm now using this particular thing. No, that is promotion. That is not branding. Your brand is your perception. What do people say about you when you're not in the room? Good, bad, ugly. That is your brand. It does not matter what posters or what values you put on your business wall. Oh, we are about openness and equity. If your customers are not experiencing that, that is your brand. If you pride yourself in being environmental, but people know you to be a polluting company, then that is your brand. At the end of the day, it's all about public perception, good, bad, and ugly. What do people say about you when you're not in the room? So, Juliet, now please tell me about your highlight. While we were working with you, we worked with you on a brand storytelling coaching, right? Project. Please tell me, what was your highlight throughout this journey? You know, you'd worked in telco, you noticed that there was a gap that these telcos or these corporates were not meeting with regards to customer experience. You noticed that you have a story, but you don't know how to package it and share it and use that as a business incentive, right? As an actual business resource. And then you reached out to me. At first, you were thinking that it's about how people feel about you. But now you realize, my goodness, brand storytelling is a whole nother animal. And now, here you are, you've worked with me at this brand storytelling project. What was your greatest highlight? Like, what was the most transformative thing that you experienced?
I must say the first thing that really stood out for me is the understanding of what exactly the brand story means, you know. And I realized that there's such an intertwining of who I am as a person, my experiences, past and present, my experience in terms of what I have done, the skills that I've learned along life, the challenges that I've encountered around life, and how those built me. And I remember you saying you cannot go forward if you don't know where you're coming from. So the first thing we did was a storybook. remember. So when I did that part of the assignment, I was able to look back into my life and see all of these things have been building me into who I am. But then what really stood out is the power of my past experiences, because I really wouldn't be where I am right now if I didn't experience all of those things. And also, those are powerful stories that I can use as brand stories, because I can tell my client, look how far I have come. Look how far I have experienced. Okay, I was where you are right now, and this is how I overcome
exactly.
this. Yeah, and I'm speaking from my own experience. This is not something I'm grabbing from the air. It is something that I have experienced, and I know how to navigate that part of the journey. And I will walk with you on this journey. So the power of experiences and using those stories as, as teaching moments, even lessons for myself and lessons for others. That's true. And the other thing was not sharing a story until you get the lesson. Like I said, I have so many stories. I am a storyteller I talk a lot. I can talk forever. So so now, but not every story is ready to be told. Not every story is ready to be told until you get the lesson from that story. Then it can be ready to be, because now when you have the lesson, someone else will learn from your lesson. And the last thing was, my stories or whatever I was posting out there did not have something called call to action. I was just telling stories and then they just fly off my mouth and that's it, or whatever channel that I use. But you help me focus and use that. Whatever story you tell, let it have some I don't say, I'm lacking the word for it. Like, let it bring something back. A call to action. Let it have something that people can do about that story that you've just shared. Those were there are many others. Oh my God, there's so much more that I learned. But those really stood out. Top of the those really stood out for me. Yeah.
Yeah. And what you've just captured is very important. And guys, these are tools that I actually teach. I'm a very strategic coach. I don't teach you how to tell a nice, very dramatic. Oh, that's another thing. Storytelling is not just being about dramatic. Tell the most dramatic thing that can go viral on social media. No, not everyone can go viral. First of all, the algorithm is constantly changing and it's not sustainable to just constantly create these very sensationalist stories just so that you can get likes. Listen, we are talking about business. Likes don't buy, customers do. Can I hear an amen?
Amen.
We will start passing the offering baskets. Likes don't buy, customers do. You will be so surprised that some people that you see on social media who, because they are giving out their things for free, they are giving out their stories for free, they are giving out their solutions for free, they are giving their brand sponsorship for free. They have even 10,000 likes, 20,000 likes, but they have 0 shillings or $0. Now that we're talking global, they have $0 to their account. There are many influencers who are struggling to make money because they're used to sharing lots of information for free, but they are earning nothing. So do not get fooled. When you go right now on my Instagram account, you will notice I have around 300 followers. But listen, those are people who are ready to buy. Those are people who are ready to buy. Would you rather have 20 followers who are ready to buy, or would you rather have 1 million followers who just click and like and who don't necessarily buy, right? So you would rather, especially now that we're talking about business, we are not here as influencers, we are here as business people. Likes don't buy, customers do. Yes, Nduko. And Liz Jerry says amen. Yes. Have you got the offering basket, please? Let's pass on that offering basket to more people. Yes, likes don't buy, customers do. And also the other thing that Juliet talked about, when realize that there's power in your story. Sometimes people come to me and they're like, but which stories do I tell? Which stories do I tell? Tell the story of what it took to get to where you are now. right? And your brand is constantly evolving and growing, right? At some point, Oprah needed to tell the story of her as a TV host. And then at some point, Oprah needed to tell the story about her as an author or as a fan of books. That she kept growing her brand to become, to build their own network brand, right? So if right now you know how to make cupcakes, but your dream is to build a cake house where you make all sorts of cakes, then start with cupcakes. Which cupcake, and even if you don't know any other cupcake flavor to make, but you make amazing, delicious vanilla cakes, cupcakes. Look, I'm even hungry. I'm even salivating. if you make delicious vanilla cupcakes, then start with your story of how you got to bake delicious vanilla cupcakes. That's where you are right now, right? Liz Jerry says that she's waiting for the offering basket to go around. Don't worry, Liz. Sister someone or brother someone still has the offering basket. Can you move it quickly, right? And pass envelopes as well in this church. Okay?
Yes.
We are not giving out our stories for free up in this place. Okay? We are not giving out our gifts and our stories of transformation for free. So yes, just because right now you only know how to make vanilla cupcakes, don't look down upon that, because there is somebody out there who is where you used to be, who barely knew how to even whisk an egg or crack an egg. That person needs your transformation. You are the perfect example. You are the story of transformation that they need to get them from breaking eggs to making a great vanilla cupcake, right? Mm-hmm. And then as you keep growing and developing, then start developing new recipes. Hey, let's try out chocolate. Let's try out velvet. Let's try out whatever. Then at some point, you'll be making 7 cupcake flavors. Then mm-hmm. after that, maybe you can start with marble cakes and other things as well. Linda says that we should pass the PDQ as well. Don't worry. Yes, this is an amazing global church. We shall pass you the PDQ machine. Sister, brother, whoever. Juliet, please tell the committee. Yes,
Sister Angie on her way in the basket.
Yes, Sister Angie at the back, please pass the PDQ machine to that brother, to Sister Liz. Yes, we are not giving things for free. And then the last thing, Juliet, that you've just mentioned, it's about, just the whole transformation. It does not come easy, but you really need to get to a point where you start appreciating yourself. What I'd mentioned before, to those of you who've just joined us, realize that just because it comes easy for you, it does not mean that you need to look down upon it. And especially if you're in the service industry. If you're in the service industry, people are not touching it or seeing it. Sometimes you'll find yourself feeling like you're giving out things for free. For me, I needed to learn how to package my spiritual gift as encouragement. That's when it made sense. Coaching. Because that's when I could actually do my very best. So thank you so much for that, Juliet. And what was the hardest thing you had to overcome? What is the hardest thing you had to overcome during our project together, our working together?
I may be a very talkative person, but I'm also very camera shy. And I also, I would be very comfortable training a class of 60 people. I have been in a class of 60 people where I'm the facilitator or I'm the trainer, but and I'm able to focus, because I know what I'm trying to teach you. But then when I have to put myself out there, that scared me a lot. I remember when you asked me to do this project that was very personal, how I was going through something at this time, and I was like, I cannot do this. I cannot do this. And I like how you reached out to me and encouraged me, and you really got me up from my, so let's go. I know it is hard, let's go. So putting myself out there was not very easy for me, but I realized that's the only way that people will get to know about who you are and what you're offering, and that's the only way people will get to hear. Like you said, how did I get to hear about you? It's by seeing your posts, because you put them out there and you are very consistent about it. So it's something I'm still struggling with, because there was that thing of second guessing my story. Like, will this story resonate with this type of people? But when I was able to identify who I want to focus in terms of the kind of customer that I want, And then now I'm able to package this story that I have for that specific market that I'm focusing on. Then it became a little easier. And then again, practice is perfect. So putting myself out there. And I must say that if you guys have seen my profile pictures all over my social medias, let me tell you something. Ayuma here, for not really forced me, but he really pushed me and said, I need a professional photo shoot. And I need you to plaster those people out there. And I trust you me, that was a beautiful, beautiful thing that I had to do. It was very hard to put myself out there, but I did. And I could see even the reception that I got, and even it gave me a little bit more, actually, so much more confidence to put myself out there. So that was one of the really tough things that I had to do. I may be talkative, but I'm really shy inside. I can talk to you one-on-one. I can help you. My talking to people comes from a point of wanting to help them, but deliberately putting myself out there without someone, and just putting myself out there for anyone to come and see what I have, that was hard. But when I'm seeing a need, I automatically want to talk about it, and I want to solve that problem that I see. So that was a hard one I had to jump, but I'm so glad that you got me to do that. Yeah.
That's very important, Juliet. And you actually share something that many small business owners battle with, right? And I'm not saying small business owners because your business is small. There's a huge difference. I'm even trying to figure out, is there another different way we can call this? We say small business because of the size of the company. This is a company that has less than 50 people. It's just the terms that we use in the industry. But if I had a choice, I would totally call it something different. Just because you call it a small business does not mean you have to call it, it doesn't mean that you have to think small. Or operate small, or dream small, or target small, right? That is not the kind of mindset we're talking here. When you're talking about small business, we're talking about the technical term in the business environment where you have less than 50 people in this organization, right? Running this organization. So small business does not mean thinking small, charging small. Let us go there. Charging small, thinking small, operating small, dreaming small. No, it's completely different, right? We're just talking about the scale, the size of the business. And Juliet, what you said is very important. It's something that many SME owners really battle with. Is my story worthy? Let me tell you something today, honey. Let me tell you something. As a brand, as somebody who's trained in global branding, brand storytelling, what you have as a small business owner is something that corporates right now are paying premium to get. What you have right now is, as a small business owner, you, yes, you. Are you seeing me right now? You are the unique value selling point of your business. Why? Because you are a real human person. You're a real human. You have emotion, you have vulnerability, you have a journey from which you can teach from, a journey of transformation. You have a life, you have a personality, you can emotionally connect. I can go live here as Ayuma representing the Let's brand, and I can talk to you about my journey. Google can't do that. Google can't do that. They have to hire. Oh yeah, Google. Okay. Google has to hire. Yes.
Sorry, this is asking. Sometimes people have ideas, but they can't sustain those ideas. Or and then how do you sustain and run with an idea to the end? I guess maybe just shortly I can say, first of all, you need to identify who is this idea for, and then again, how do you package it? Where, by the way, I'm not. Nothing. This is not a marketing thing, but I was there, Liz. I was there, and Ayuma has walked me through the journey of that self-doubt, and she has helped me understand what to focus on. Like you said, I'm a scatterbrain. I have a million and one ideas, but how do I know which one to run with? you know. So she helped me know how to put focus in the most important ones, and you know how to learn how to pick one that is going to I'm going to run with to the end, because there is value there. So I would say, don't be afraid to get someone who can coach you through this journey, because every person, my ideas are not the same as yours. You know, we are not probably in the same industry, or we have different personalities or different passions and talents. So having someone who is able to coach you and help you through this journey is actually really, really beneficial. Yeah. I have seen the benefits of that. I'm reaping the, you know, the benefits of having a coach walk me through this. Yeah.
Yeah. So some of you are bringing in questions, but don't worry, we will answer your questions. So and to speak to that, I'll speak to that in just a moment. But to the point I was talking about, listen, as an SME owner, you have a competitive advantage that large global corporates don't have, and that is a personality, right? People normally confuse it by saying, I am a brand, I am a brand. You're not a brand. You are not a brand. You're a representative of a brand. You might like color red, but your brand, what it stands for, it stands for something or a value that psychologically is represented by color green. Even the color that you choose is very, very important. And children even at the age 6, can know what your brand stands for based off of color. So don't take such things lightly, right? So the reason why you stand out, why you have a competitive advantage over large corporates, is you have a personality. Large corporates have to hire, what are they called? Brand ambassadors, and they are expensive. They do not come cheap. Brand ambassadors do not come cheap, because this large corporate is trying to attach themselves to a personality, you know, and that comes, it's expensive. And sometimes that personality lets them down or says, no, you're not paying me enough, peace out, you know. But you, as an SME owner, you have a personality that you can run with. People bought into Apple because of Steve Jobs. People bought into the own network because of Oprah. People bought into Jordans, the shoe brand, because of Michael Jordan, right? People will buy into this big empire that you're building because of you. So people buy people. People don't buy products. People buy into people. So you will need to realize you are already enough. With the example I was sharing with you before, you need to get over yourself, by the way. You just need to get over yourself and do what needs to be done. Because business does not care for personality. It does not care whether you're an introvert, whether you're an extrovert, whether you are talkative or whether you're not talkative. Business needs what a business needs, and it needs somebody driving it. And your brand story is fuel, because that is how you get to connect with people. And guess what? Because you're a personality, people will connect with you through emotion. The reason why Juliet connected with my post and she ended up being my customer is because I was vulnerable in my posts. I mean, just go to all of my go to my stories. You will see I'm being vulnerable with my journey. And the fact is, because SME owners are constantly comparing themselves with corporates. Stop thinking that way, please. Stop thinking that way. You need to think like your customer. That is your competition. Your competition is the thing that's holding back your customer from experiencing something good, experiencing freedom or whatever that is. So if you're constantly comparing yourself with corporates, it will never work, because you're working against yourself with the thing that you have, which corporates don't have, which is a personality, right? I'm able to talk about storytelling confidently like right now because I know what it was like facing challenges as a journalist, my voice not being heard, facing sexual harassment as somebody who's trying to get into journalism, right? I am talented, I am gifted, but I can't be allowed to practice because somebody in a newsroom can't handle their hormones, right? I'm struggling to get my word out there because people aren't taking me seriously enough as a woman, right? And why do I work with women? Because I get it. Because there are all of these things that are stopping us along the way. Things like sexism, things like not being taken seriously, things like walking into a bank and people ask you, are you married? Therefore, do you have collateral so that you can start this bank account? I know what that is like. And I know about the power of changing the world using women's stories, because I know what it was like starting up a first generation business as a woman. I'm the very first businesswoman in my entire family. I know the hardship that comes with that. But because I know what that is like, I am then equipped with the story, with the empathy, right? With the vulnerability to serve women across the world who are daring to break this glass ceiling that is gender inequity across the world. Why? Because women's stories can change the world. And if we start sharing our examples and get over ourselves, then we will lift other people along the way. Why? Because we are where they want to be. But also, our customers are where we used to be. That is the transformation. That is the story you're selling. You're not selling about the future you haven't gone to. You're selling where you have been. You're not selling, hey, how you're going to build this large cake house. You're selling how to make vanilla cupcakes, because that is where you're at. And you're selling to somebody who wants to make vanilla cupcakes, right? So please start there. So get over yourself, start where you are, leverage your personality as a competitive value that even corporates don't have, right? And start small with what you have. Start. I know Liz was talking about, was it Angie? She was talking about starting. Just start. Why? If you don't start, how will you know? How will you learn? You learn in the process, right? So Itumanka says, how does one jumpstart themselves? Second guessing myself is your worst vice. That is the answer. You're not jumpstarting because you're second guessing. So stop second guessing and just do it, right? Okay, I'm going to add Juliet. She has just dropped off. You stop second guessing by just starting. Just start. In Itumanka, just start. Stop second guessing, because this is the reality. No one is coming to rescue you. No one. That is something I had to learn, a hardcore lesson I had to learn in business. You need to learn how to parent yourself. If you do not have encouragement, encourage yourself. If you do not have the tools that you need, get those tools. If you do not have the expertise, then get an expert. At some point, you can get things for free online with free toolkits here, webinars, workshops. You can only get so far with things that are free. At some point, you will need to invest real money to get the answers that you truly need. For Juliet, she could only get so much from my stories online. She could only get so much from the Instagram lives. But it got to a point where she needed to really invest real coins, real money for her to get tailor-made solutions for her journey, right? Because I'm not out here giving out my transformation for free. I have worked hard. I have paid money to get global branding training, right? And I'm not about to be giving that out for free, because this is how I feed myself. This is how I support myself. And this is my service to the world, right? So in Tumaka, just learn that you will never feel ready. No one is coming to save you. No one is coming to encourage you. Please start. No one is coming to make it comfortable for you to start. No one is coming to rescue you. You need to be your own rescue by doing it afraid, by starting, by encouraging yourself, by disrupting that imposter syndrome within yourself, and encourage yourself. Start speaking to yourself positive affirmations. That's another thing I constantly challenge Juliet with. She kept coming to me and telling me, oh, but I can't take that photograph. Juliet, you remember? Oh, I can't take that photograph. I told Juliet, I am not accountable to the woman that you are right now. I'm accountable to the woman you told me you want to be, you need to be. The woman who's built a strong brand, the woman who's earning money, real coins from her story. That is the woman I'm accountable to. And that woman needs a professional photo done. Why? Because customers care about that. Customers care that you take yourself seriously enough to take a professional photo done, right? And turns out she had those resources around her the whole time. She had those resources around her. What she needed is to disrupt that mindset that I can't. She needed to do it afraid. So that's the importance of coaching. For me as a coach, I am not your friend. I am not your best friend. For me, I am your accountability partner to the woman you're choosing to become, your higher self. And your higher self needs some mindset to be disrupted. She needs some attitudes to be disrupted. She needs some behaviors and habits to be disrupted. She needs her language to be disrupted so that she can get to that higher self. So I am not responsible and accountable to the person you are right now. I'm accountable to the woman you've told me you want to become. And then if I believe in that woman, you're in trouble, because I will listen to no excuses. That's the power of coaching. Having somebody who's accountable to the higher value, the higher self that you want to become. Yeah? Yeah. So so that was a sermon. Can I hear an amen in the comment sections? I hope some of you have received the offering basket. The PDQ has also started going around. So, Juliet, you've told me that you were able to overcome the fear. You still struggle with it, which is quite honest. I like that you say that. You still struggle with it, but you're doing it anyway. Because courage is a do word. It's not about feel good things. It's not about feeling. Courage, you feel courageous when you do courageous things. Courage does not wait for you to feel courageous. Courage is a do word. Yeah? So Angie said, I started my business so afraid of whether people will buy what I was bringing. So glad I started. Yeah. Don't worry too much about what people think. This is business. And you need to be speaking to the people who need what you're offering. Your customers are the people who need what you're offering. So don't care about what other people think. If they're not buying from you, that's none of your business, right? So, Juliet, you've just said that you were able to overcome that feeling of, am I good enough? That feeling of, can I put my face and my work out there? And you now realize that if you don't do that, then no one will really know. No one will really know you're selling or buying anything, right? No one will be able to reach out to you and actually buy that which you're selling, right? So yeah. I need you to share with the people who are on this live, what piece of advice would you have for a woman who is where you used to be? The woman who is either transitioning from employment to self-employment, or starting a new business, or maybe re-strategizing the business that she started, right? But this person is afraid of putting herself out there, putting her name, her face, her stories out there. Somebody who maybe the understanding of branding is the way it's practiced here locally. Somebody who hasn't yet put money into an expert into storytelling, but also somebody who has this dream, somebody who sees a gap, somebody who really wants to offer this value and solution, but she doesn't know where to start, or she has all of these stories and ideas, but doesn't know where to start. What piece of advice do you have to this woman who is where you used to be before you invested in coaching athletes?
I would say, first of all, it is a valid feeling. It's a valid emotion to feel afraid, because fear is actually meant to help us, to protect us from getting into harmful situations, you know. So it's a natural feeling to have fear. But then again, what you need to work through that fear. Do it afraid. Do it afraid, because you can only there's someone who was we were talking about authorship, you know, writing a book, and they said you can always edit a badly written page, but you cannot edit a page that has not been written. Okay, so you need to do something. You need to do something, even if you're afraid to. So, and then again, when you say you're afraid to fly because you might fall, you know, what if you grow wings along the way and you fly? Exactly. The best thing always lie on the other side of fear. If you don't put yourself out there, nobody will know about you. You will die with that story that you have. And then again, if it is meant for you, it will bother you. It will keep pinching you and getting you, you know, worked up, because God has put something in you. And why are you afraid what other people think? God did not put that gift in them. He did not put that purpose in them. He put it in you, and he will provide everything that you need to work with that talent and gift that he has given you. And then again, remember those who are coming behind you. Remember people who are where you are at that moment. Do you know that you're 70% when you're thinking you have not done your best, that you're really struggling? Do you know there's someone who is looking up to you, and how much you have achieved is like 150% for them? They're like, oh my God, she's doing so well. I would want to be where she is now. And then you're thinking, oh my God, this is only 30%. I'm really struggling.
Can you
I cannot
imagine?
do this. But there's someone who is looking up to you, and they're thinking, oh my God, she's doing so well. I wish I had the courage to do that. So look at also the impact you have on the people around you, and how you're actually a source of inspiration, and you're encouraging people who are really on their lowest. So do not be afraid to put yourself out there and to make that first step of faith, because when you make that step of faith, God can see, the universe hears, it listens, and God listens and hears and sees that you're putting an effort, and he will provide whatever you need to propel you forward. So do not be afraid. Fear is okay, but the fear is actually courage. Courage is fear that has not said its prayers. So fear, pray, and go. Yeah.
Wow. Guys, please write an amen in the comments if what Juliet has just said resonates with you, and please pass the offering basket around, okay? That is, wow. That was amazing, Juliet. And I just think it's amazing to see how you've transformed, to see your confidence, to now see that you are armed with global brand storytelling tools and with the ease to be yourself and knowing that you are enough. And that even though fear sometimes lurks around, you can simply, I normally say that fear, I like what you've said, fear is courage that hasn't prayed. Is it that hasn't prayed for? Is confidence that hasn't prayed? Yeah. And for me, I define fear as is a made-up story about the future with no proof, with no evidence. So what you need to do is arm yourself with evidence so that you are prepared. When you feel prepared, then you can't feel like an imposter when you've done the work. You can never feel like an imposter when you've done the work, okay? So thank you so much, Nduko, for your feedback. Nduko says, just today I decided to be allergic to free for the first time and was pleasantly surprised. Yes, let us be allergic to free. Let us be allergic to free. You can't be out here giving out things for free, your transformation for free, and then you're asking, why don't I have money? Why don't I have a job? You're giving out your services for free and your products for free. If people keep on coming and telling you, hey, make for us those cupcakes for our women's group or for our church, and you're over there baking, using your resources and your knowledge, and you're baking 50 cupcakes for free. What if you charged those cupcakes? Right? And your customers are people with a ready budget to buy. Your customers are not fans. No. Your customers are not fans. Your customers are people with a ready budget. And realize this is an example that I thought about when Juliet was talking. Start now. Start with what you have. Along the way, the people who believe in you, the people who you are meant to serve, they will follow you throughout, right? Right now, I'm a woman and I'm buying into Oprah's brand, right? I'm able to buy Oprah's book. I'm able to watch her movies. Why? Because when I was a girl, I used to watch her as a TV host. I used to watch her as a Black woman holding conversations that I can relate with, right? I can relate with her stories. And even I could see that she was being bullied. I could see that she was having a hard time. And so when they fired her, because she showed her emotion, I followed her through on that journey. Why? Because I faced that along my journey as a Black woman. So now today, I'm still with her because I'm able to buy her books. I'm still able to buy into her podcast. I'm able to buy into her brand because I have walked that journey with her as she kept evolving. So realize it will be the same for you with your clients, right? With your clients, they will start with you as with your vanilla cupcakes. And they will remind you, you remember we started with vanilla cupcakes, until one day when you have this amazing cake house, which you're serving, I don't know, biggest of big people, big cakes, you will realize that you're still serving your customers, and your audience grew with you because you started with those vanilla cupcakes that you once taught them how to make because you believed in yourself. And vanilla cupcakes, the knowledge that you had about vanilla cupcakes was enough. So start where you are, start with what you have. What you're currently seeing as 10% is somebody else's 1,000%. There's somebody who does not know how to break an egg somewhere, who needs to learn from you who needs to get to how do I make nice vanilla cupcakes. Again, let us be allergic to free, please. And by free, I mean it doesn't mean that you shouldn't share your story. Your story, inside your story is a recipe. Inside your story is a packaging of transformation. That's what I am talking about. Don't offer that for free. I can't be out here giving you free information about building a global brand. I put in the sweat capital to build that. I can't offer that for free. And when you see me on TV, just because this is an example I shared in the last live, I recently got invited to speak at a certain local TV station, and I had the confidence to say no. Why? I analyzed it. It would be free work. Why? Free, quote unquote. I only speak and don't receive payment only when I know in the audience there's somebody who can pay me. So when this person invited me to speak at this local show, I needed to, first of all, realize, do I even watch this show? Number two, do my customers watch this show and even this TV station? And these people who are watching this TV station, are they able to pay me? I said no, because it was not a match. But when you see me going and speaking on NTV, be it a panel, be it whatever, I normally go there because I know that my clients watch NTV. And when my clients see me speaking on a panel, or being interviewed on the TV station that they naturally watch, I'm positioning myself right where they already are at. And when I pitch something, it will speak of authority. Yeah, go where your customers are. So it's not really free. That is investing in my sweat capital. That is investing in my street cred. My customers will be like, yo, I'm seeing her on NTV. That is my street cred, right? Angie is saying some of us don't even watch TV, right? So, but that's why I take that video and I put it on your WhatsApp group, So position yourself where your customers are at. It's actually not hard. If you just think about your customer, you will realize how much free work you've been doing and how much you need to stop and how much value there is in positioning your gifts, your talent, your story where the people who can buy from you are at, right? So next time people ask you for those free cupcakes, say you're not doing free anymore, right? In our church, we've already said amen. We've already passed the offering basket. We are no longer giving out our stories for free because your story is money. Your story is currency, which can give you income, especially during this time. And remember, we are not thinking local. We are not thinking Africa. Africa is too small. We are thinking global, right? We are thinking global. Our African solutions are global worthy. Okay. So Juliet, tell us a little bit about your business. And maybe some people up on in here are looking for customer experience support at their organizations, or even as they are building their business brands or their personal brands. What does customer experience look like, and how can they reach out to you for support?
Okay. Thank you so much, Ayuma, even for for this opportunity to talk about what I do. I own a consultancy business called Crafted Experience Solutions. Crafted with a Q, because I'm a queen, Anyway, so I do consultancy for customer experience, and I also do training for frontline teams like call centers, people who are in the shops, or people who actually interact directly with the customer. I do a similar training for internal teams for a business, which I call employee experience. All right. So it's a wholesome aspect of customer experience for your business, because most people, I realize, they do a business strategy and they place someone at the front of the shop and they expect them to deliver customer experience. Yet you have not discussed, they are not what you want to sell to the customer or what experience you want to give to the customer. You have not equipped them with that information. In that way, when they are standing there, they're just doing the, you know, about how what you have done in your product or in your service to deliver to your customer. So I help businesses align their business strategy with their customer experience strategy, and I also train them and themselves on how to deliver that. Customer experience has to be deliberately designed. So I help people design the experience around their products, their services, even internally, how they each other in terms of employee experience. Yes. So you can reach me on email at craftedexperience.com. That's Juliet at craftedexperience.com. And we can have a conversation. Of course, I also do the interview call where I try and figure out where are your challenges. You know, what are you struggling with, so that I can package or I can design a solution that works best for you. And also we work together. It's not my decisions that I for my customer. They are your customers. So we work together to see how we can deliver the best experience for your customers, so that they're coming back every time. And it's not too late. Of course, it's always best for
Okay, Juliet, your audio is a bit choppy.
And businesses that have actually deliberately worked towards improving the experience have registered even up to 72% increase. Because when customers are happy, they buy more, they pay more. That's what I do. So yeah.
Awesome. So thank you so much, Juliet. Your video was a bit choppy. So to wrap it up, I'll just share that Juliet, because she's ever pitched to me, right? And I've worked with her and I understand what she does. So if you have any questions about Juliet's business, it's called Crafted Experience with a Q, because she's a queen, okay? So she reach out to her at Juliet at craftedexperience.com. Juliet, you can type your email at the comments so that people can reach out to you directly, or even you can DM her. We're already on Instagram. I mean, you can just reach out to her immediately. So she said that she designs solutions for businesses, especially for SMEs, so that you can be able to map out your customer experience right from the moment they first interact with you to the moment they leave and come back, because she's all about making sure people return to you for business, right? Because we need that cash flow coming in. We need predictable income, right? And customer experience is very important, because somebody can buy from you, but if they don't want to come back to you, then that means it could be a customer experience issue, okay? So make sure you get return clients so that you can have more cash flow, so that you can have, you know, predictable income during these times. And yes, I do understand people are saying, oh, maybe you might be thinking, oh, maybe I have a small budget, or I have this, or I have that. Don't say no before inquiring. Let that no come from somebody like Juliet saying, no, you can't afford me. But reach out to her, get your interview call with her, so that she can be able to give you the right solutions, okay? Don't say no to yourself, even when the expert hasn't said no to you, right? Reach out to Juliet. She shared her email at juliet@craftedexperience.com. And I'm so glad that you were able to join us today, Juliet. I'm so proud of you, this far that you have come with your transformation journey. I'm so proud of you, seeing how you're sharing your story and actually receiving clients from your stories. Remember, likes don't buy, customers do. Yeah. We are running businesses here. We are not social media influencers. We are running businesses here. We want people who actually buy from us, not people who just like our posts, okay? So, yes, Linda says Jules is a CX expert indeed. Yes, she is. And she's bringing you all this wealth that she learned from some of the successful East African companies in corporate, and she's packaging it with her own personal story, the gaps that she saw that telcos are not, or these corporates are not able to solve for you. She's able to solve this for you. So you can be a business brand owner or even a personal brand owner. You know, maybe you're running a personal brand and you're wondering, why aren't people coming back to me after working with me? Why aren't people coming to work with me? Maybe you're a model, maybe you're a singer. I'm noticing my friend Onyango is here, a poet. Maybe Onyango, you're wondering, why aren't these people coming back to me, you know, after I do a nice poetry session with them or something, like, why aren't they coming back? Reach out to Juliet. She can help you out with customer experience to find out and to audit what is the experience with these people, customers who are coming to you from beginning to the end, so that you can figure out your cycle and figure out where the bottlenecks are, so that people can have a seamless experience whenever they interact with your brand. Okay? And remember, we are allergic to free. Stop.
Yes.
Stop giving out your stories for free. Okay? So I'd also like to mention that this Saturday, 7th August, from 12 to 1 p.m., I will be running a webinar that is going to happen on my virtual space. And this webinar, I say free, but it's not because I'm sharing my stories for free. And I actually say that I am doing it because I know the people who are joining are potential customers. Okay? So this webinar is called Monetize Your Story webinar. And I'll be teaching you 3 things. I will be teaching you why you aren't sharing your story. I'll be teaching you how you can start to package your story. And I'll be teaching you how you can start to monetize your story. Because we need to start from somewhere, right? So please make sure that you sign up. I'll share the link below right after this live. This live will remain on my IGTV. You can get back to it, revise, write notes, send your offering on the offering basket. And please realize that you need to start from somewhere. But much as we are giving some of these free solutions, it will get to a point where free no longer serves you. You will need to actually invest real coins so that you can get more tailor-made, more quality support to what you are doing, whether it's for your business brand or your personal brand. This webinar is free. Sign up. And I will be teaching you these 3 things, and I cannot wait to interact with you and elevate you as you build your brand. Remember, your story is worthy, your story is currency, and your voice is power. Don't give it for free. It is possible to monetize it and change the world in the process. I have been your host today, Ayuma Michelle. I'm the founder, storytelling coach, and keynote speaker at Let's, where I am empowering women leaders from all around the world to use their stories to change the world and make money in the process. My guest today has been Juliet, global customer experience expert and trainer at Crafted Experience. Do reach out to her if you need to learn how to create a seamless solution of your customers from beginning to end and return customers. Liz Ndari says, I love the conversation and really learned a lot. Karibu sana. I will see you in the next live. I'm planning to have these lives more often, so we will think about it, right? So thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. I will love you and leave you. Remember, reach out to Juliet. Juliet, do you have something to say before we close this live?
I'm so happy for this session. I'm glad that we had this conversation. And thank you all who joined in. Please reach out to Ayuma. She's a wonderful coach. Also, if you need assistance with your customer experience strategy and just delivering the greatest experience, reach out to me. I've put my email there, and yeah, we'll get to see how this goes. We can walk this journey together. Don't walk alone.
Yes, you don't have to walk alone, sis. Don't suffer alone. Don't walk alone. We are here for you because we are where we have been where you currently are at. Okay. So thank you, Angie. Angie says she loves it. Duko says that this was a really great session. And thank you for all who've joined us today. Remember, it is possible to use your story to change the world and make money in the process. It is time for us to stop giving out our stories for free. It is time to monetize our stories. Follow my conversations on social media at #Monetize Your Story. And I hope to see you on Saturday, 7th August from 12 to 1 p.m. where I'll be running the Monetize Your Story webinar. And I hope to see you then. Remember, it's free and you actually need to sign up. I'll share the link below. Okay. Have a lovely afternoon or great day or night, wherever you're joining me from. This live will continue to be available on my IGTV. I will love you and leave you. Bye-bye.